Midnight Tides, Book 5 in Malazan Book of the Fallen, is a fascinating read, and maybe it's a good alternative on where to start with Malazan Book of the Fallen as a series, because it's standalone. It takes place some years before Gardens of the Moon, in a completely separate continent, with completely new characters, with another magical system, because it's Malazan, and it makes as little sense as Gardens of the Moon on its own. So this book is really interesting. Half of it is Shakespearean drama about a tribe of barbarians uniting under a new king and going out to take vengeance on an imperialistic empire. The other half of it is totally Pratchettian insanity. And if an author gets the Ankh-Morpork vibe perfectly, that's Steven Erikson, believe it or not. What is Midnight's all about? Midnight Tides is a story about two empires going to war, and it's told through two different families, the Sengar and the Benedicts. Even more focused, it's told through the sons and the servants of those families. So we have two empires. We have some tribes of Tistendur, which are the shadow elves of the world, basically the shadow elves, who live as primitives in this continent of Latheras, and they're united under a warlock king, a strong wizard king who plans to make them an empire. And then we've got the Letheri Empire, which is a mix of Ankh-Morpork, of Rome, and maybe the modern US. I don't know, they are capitalists, they use debt to dominate everybody, and the rich are rich and the poor are fucked. On the side of the Sankar family, we have Trul, who is swordsman, spearman, supreme, but also he is kind of sensitive and kind of actually sees the world for what it is, and is kind of smart, understand things. And also we have their servant, Udinas, who is a Letheri slave that was being captured in a raid and is helping with tasks there. And there are three more brothers. Let me check their names because I can't recall them and I'll say something wrong, alright? So yeah, we've got Talmat, who's the father, Uruth, who is the mother of the Sengars, then we have Fear, who's the eldest and a weapon master, Trul, who is kind of smart and sensitive, and also appears somewhere in the previous book. So in the whole series, this is like a flashback of Trul telling his story at the end of House of Chains. And then we have Benadas, who is a sorcerer, and Rulad, who is the youngest son, and he's kind of a dark horse. And of course, there is always there is Han Mos, like the Warlock King, and there is Udinas, who is the slave. That's the other point of view in the Sagar side of things, as well as Featherwitch, which is a witch born in slavery, and she's kind of a clairvoyant, and also Udinas has a crush on her, and early on saves her from scrying a reading gone wrong. And then we have the Letheri, who are very corrupt, and we have the Bedic brothers, and these are Brace, who is the king's bodyguard. We have Hall, who was a prosper. He used to visit other tribes for the Letheri Empire and actually helped them, enslave them, and he is very mad about his actions, and actually is against the Letheri Empire at the moment. And then we have the true MVP of the book, maybe of the books to come, Teho. Steven Erikson has this trope of the idiot savant, of the very silly character who is actually a genius and a master manipulator, and that was Krupe in Gods of the Moon. Here, that's Teho and his manservant Bug. They're hilarious. They are making you laugh out loud, and at the same time they're the most dangerous people in the entire city, because they're hatching plans. And reading this book, after you know what's coming next and the big revelation at the end of the book, it's like, oh yeah, that's even better. That really raises the book up on reread. But I won't spoil too many things. So they have a plan to make the Lethari Empire fall down, and that's pretty evident early on. And they act all kinds of stupid, like they're begging for food or scrapping for food or whatever, and they're in all those schemes and scams and stuff. And they try to help three sisters to take, not three sisters, three women from enslaved tribes take vengeance on the Lethari Empire, and they go some convoluted stuff. There is also this undead thief helping them. There are some very silly parts about, let's say, spicy moments that are very juvenile. That's the one bad part in this book. There are a lot of spice, silly jokes that make it age badly, but nobody's perfect. And this book is almost there. But yes, there is this whiplash between very dramatic, very serious, very tragic backstory of the Tistendur, because the Sanger brothers have to go on a quest that goes horribly wrong, and the status quo is going to hell. And of course, there is the crippled god in the background pulling, I would say strings, but basically it's chains, and all kind of stuff happening, very dramatic. And then we have the silly part in the Lethari Empire that is actually tragic, but it's presented to you in a very silly and Pratchettian way that makes you laugh. Because that's dark humor. Dark humor is laughing for things you want to cry about. And I think this nails it. And I'm not sure if it was the first book I'd read in Malazan Book of the Fallen, I would be confused. Cars of the Moon was confusing too. It's better written, and it's very self-contained. I mean, you get hints that there's a wide world around, but at the same time, it's just these characters, these empires clashing, and it kind of works. It's the most contained of the Malazan books. Guardians of the Moon is pretty close because it actually has the seeds of a city, but there's an empire and a lot of backstory with the bridge burners and a lot of intrigue with the Malazan Empire, and etc. etc. So this book is simpler, and maybe it's worth a read on its own. Of course, it ends on a cliffhanger, so you have to wait for Reaper's Gale to see how it all plays out. That's not the next book, that's the second book. But then again, you have to wait for Toll the Hounds to see how things go after Memories of Ice. So yeah, that's nothing big, I guess. So yeah, it's definitely recommend. And this is where it's the last segue before things start to come together in the Malazan Book of the Fallen. The next 5 books, they start to converge. I mean, every Malazan book is a big convergence of storylines into 1 or 2 events, and this is also how the entire series goes. There are tangents, there are segues, there are different places to go, but they all tie together, and it's time for the entire series to come together. And this is a last break, a last piece of the puzzle before we go to Bone Hunters, and the roller coaster begins towards the big ending that you're not sure what's about. That's actually something else that's very, I won't say fascinating, but I'll say that's alienating with Malazan. In book 3, we learn who's the big bad guy, and we learn what is the plan, sort of. And we even get we get a hint of the ending. And then we have to wait 7 books for it, and some of those books go different places to resolve different arcs. And yeah, this book is nothing like that. This book is just 2 empires go to war. You don't have to care about anything else. And that's our welcome sense of pace. And yeah, hopefully by 2025 I'll finish the rereads. Hope you liked this book, and yeah, see you soon. Thank you for watching.